Well, hello, and welcome to SoCal Prep Report. My name is Randy Rosenblum, your host. Tarek Fatal will join me in a moment. We have a jam-packed show. Rod Sherman has had a great success record at Orange Lutheran will join us. He's in studio. His team is 3-1. They have the big game tomorrow against Sierra Canyon. A little later in the program, we'll have Eagle Rock flag football. Julie Wilkins, their head football coach, and Haylee Weatherspoon, a star player on the team, will join us via Zoom. By the way, they're 2-0. They've scored 104 points, and the Eagles have not allowed a point. But we have a little bit of a negative, a little bit of breaking news about Cathedral High School, and we bring Tarek in to talk about it. Cathedral High School is 1-3, and apparently they're going to go on some kind of probation. The Southern section is going to make an announcement tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's a sign that the Southern section's cracking down on things. And I think when things come to light, I know Tom Simmons and in the past Rob Wygod, now it's Mike West. They get anonymous letters, they get tips that no one wants to attach their name to, but when there's concrete evidence, they have to make an example out of a program, and in this case, it's Cathedral.
Yeah, and Coach Jefferson stepped down a few weeks ago, left the program. They are 1-3. They had a great win, did Cathedral, the Phantoms, to begin the year over Garfield, who's the number 2 ranked team in the city. They beat them like 42-40, I think it was, maybe 43-40. But then it's gone south. They lose 3 games in a row, and apparently they're going to get hit with some kind of violation. You know who's not going to get hit with a violation? Rod Sherman in Orange Lutheran. He's a good guy. He had great success in Colorado, winning state championships. He's off to a wonderful start at OLU. His football team, as I mentioned, is 3-1. Coach, we bring you in. Thanks for dropping by.
You bet. I appreciate what you guys do for high school sports, and thanks for having me.
Well, you got a tough one tomorrow night. It doesn't get any easier. I know you lost a difficult game in Chandler, Arizona last week. You have a very fine team, but now you step up against Sierra Canyon, and that'll be a challenge.
Well, there's no doubt. John Ellinghaus, I've known him for a while. We coached together in the Army All-American game a few years ago, and he does an exceptional job in his program since we've played him. We played him in 2021 in the Division II semifinals. They've grown so much, and hopefully we have too. So we're excited to be a game of the week and have a chance for our kids to play on a big stage.
We were talking a little bit before the show, Coach, and we were talking about kind of the step-up game and how actually the opponents see you now as a step-up game. Your program is growing. Are you on the game plan? Are you on the trajectory that you feel is the timeline of flight for this program?
Yeah, I think I came in with a vision of where we wanted to go, that we wanted to be at the intersection of faith integration in high school football, of developing kids and competitive excellence, and got careful not to worry too much about the timeline of what that is versus can we do the best job with our kids every day? And I'm thankful for how we've grown. I'm thankful for the kids God's blessed and entrusted us with, and we're excited to be able to play this year. I think 8 of our 10 regular season games are against teams in the national top 100. And I shared with our guys, you get growth through challenge. And rather than to play a schedule that's not very good, we're going to find out a lot more about ourselves. And God's going to grow our character through those tough games. And it's going to be okay at the end if we have a big picture perspective. So our guys are awesome kids. They're awesome young men. They're working hard. And I think they've been able to keep some good perspective through the week in, week out gauntlet that we've had to face.
Well, and you can end the season with St. John Bosco in Mater Dei, and that certainly won't be an easy challenge at all. That's going to be difficult for your club. But I do want to talk to you about you. You had this great success in Colorado. You come back to Orange Lutheran, which is your alma mater. Why are you good at this? What makes you tick? Because you won championships in Colorado, and you've been able quickly to build the program. What do you do?
I'm lucky to have coached really good players. And I think I've been at schools that desire to integrate, that they're passionate about the same things I am of football is a platform for kids, right? Football is a platform because kids are passionate about it. So how do we use football as an opportunity to learn, to grow? I think it's easy in today's world to lose perspective of what's important about high school football. And I'm just so blessed. I was talking to some players on the way over here today and just talking about like how they're passionate about football and how they're growing, but how they also recognize how important education is, how important their faith is, and that we can do all of that. So I feel blessed to have been at some schools that really value that. And we've been able to attract the right types of young men who care about all of those things versus being singularly focused of just all we care about is football all the time. We want all of it. And that parents were just so grateful that they've entrusted the most valuable possessions of their life, their kids, to us as we're in this partnership with them. We don't want our parents to drop their kid off and to just leave us alone. We want to be in partnership with parents to help use football as a great opportunity to provide growth, learning, college education, things like that for them in the big picture.
In the amount of years you've coached high school football, I always ask this, Randy knows it's like one of my cliche questions. From when you first started coaching young men to now, what is the biggest difference in the high school athlete in regards to changing the way you coach and maybe even the way they digest coaching?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I don't think there's a difference in the way kids are motivated. I think when I started coaching, I had some great mentor coaches that encouraged me to build relationships with kids, get to know them. That a personal relationship is a way better motivator than fear. I'm not always great at that. I'm trying to get better. I don't know that that's any different. I think there's less patience now. I think like, oh my gosh, I got to get on the field as a freshman. I got to get on the field as a sophomore. Where we really want young men to understand long obedience in the same direction, and how are we helping use this as a catalyst for other areas of their life so that we're in good balance, that all the spokes on our wheel are in good balance. And it's okay to be super passionate about football, and I love my guys that are super passionate about football, but they can also be passionate about playing another sport, about being a great student, about we've got about 8 kids that are in our creative worship class where they lead worship for our school. And you can do all of those things really, really well. So I think society-wise, we've sometimes lost patience of that process that helps cultivate that in our young men.
When you were in Colorado, you had the opportunity to coach Christian McCaffrey and his family. Christian was one of the players. What was that like, and did you see him, the guy who ran for 151 yards last week in the season opener at Pittsburgh for the 49ers, did you see that ability?
Yeah, it was hard not to. He's exceptional. The thing I admired most about Christian, when your best player is your hardest worker, good things happen. I remember after he was at Stanford for a week, Coach Shaw, David Shaw, who was the head coach at Stanford at the time, called me, said in 1 week he has elevated our practices at Stanford because of how hard he worked. The thing that not everyone recognized about Christian, he played 3 sports in high school. He learned to play the piano.
Wow.
He was a well-rounded young man who cared about football, but he cared about the other things, and he recognized that he could do all of those things together, and he didn't just have to have that singular focus, which can get us out of balance. And I think about some of the young men now that I get a chance to coach, AJE, Talanoa, Haylee. There's so many of them that have that similar mentality of, man, we want to go play in the NFL. We want to do all those things in addition to these other things that are important to us from a life standpoint.
What other 2 sports did he play? I just got to ask real quick.
He played basketball as a point guard and then ran track.
There you go.
And Tarek now really likes him because Tarek loves basketball. Coach, you're well-spoken. You're a good guy. You obviously have a tremendous track record. We appreciate you coming in. You got Olu on the right track, and I know even though you're in the difficult Trinity League, you're going to have success for years to come at your alma mater. Thank you for coming in.
I appreciate what you guys do for kids. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate what you do for the kids because you're coaching them up. All right, that's Rod Sherman. Tarek, we want to talk about a couple football games here briefly. Long Beach Poly and Sarah.
Weird one.
Very strange. 28-14. You're going to see the numbers come up. This is the halftime score. That's the final score.
That's correct. So it was at Sarah. It was not at Veterans Stadium in Long Beach, excuse me. It was at Sarah in Gardena, and at halftime, the crowd, there was people still trying to get into the stadium, and people that were in seats were getting out of their seats to go to concessions, go to the bathroom, and so it got too crazy in and around the field, and so the authorities thought it was too unsafe due to the crowd control, called the game. We don't hear that a lot, Randy, so that was the final score at halftime.
Still a lot of points.
Kind of scary.
It's a weird situation, though, as you noted.
Yeah.
How about Servite? Speaking of the Trinity League, Rod Sherman's league, Servite over Los Alamitos. This is a big win for the Friars.
Yeah, you know, in high school, we don't say upset because we don't have betting, but I would say it was a stunner or a shocker, right? No one was expecting Los Alamitos to lose that game, but hey, kudos to Servite putting together a good game plan and taking a nice win home.
Brea Olinda 37, Sunny Hills 14. This is our spotlight game. Sit back and relax for the next 90 seconds. Some highlights and some good ones from this game. Mild surprise with Brea Olinda winning. How about Palos Verdes and Edison? Two teams putting up a lot of points on the scoreboard. Very, very hotly contested battle, and Palos Verdes pulled it out.
Nice win for the Sea Kings. We've got video with 1 second left. Dylan Freebury knocks in a 27-yard field goal. The Sea Kings were actually trailing by a touchdown, came back, kicked a field goal. Big win for the Sea Kings. They play a city section team this week. They'll probably go 5-0. That's a team that could probably win their league.
Yeah, they're favored to win the league. Santa Margarita, in a game last Thursday, outscored Bishop Amat 51-45. They had to rally in this one.
Amat was up 21-0. You'd have to think a Mission League team that, like Bishop Amat, one that gets away like that is hard to overcome. I think the Mission League's a little down this year. We'll get to that maybe in a later show.
Let's take a look at our top 10 in the southern section. Again, no real surprise. Mater Dei looked great against Kahuku, and St. John Bosco continued to roll. Centennial, even with a loss at Bishop Gorman, stays third. Poly with that crazy win in Sierra Canyon. Got Orange Lutheran, who's ranked 6th. They're going to play Sierra Canyon, J. Sierra, Mission Viejo, Rancho Cucamonga, and Santa Margarita.
Yeah, only thing I'll mention here is because Long Beach Poly had a 2-touchdown lead at halftime, I kind of boosted them up. Orange Lutheran drops after the loss in Arizona. We'll see what happens Sierra Canyon, Orange Lutheran.
Sure.
I just want to mention very quickly, that could have Division I playoff implications.
Yeah, it really could. How about some great performances? Trent Mosley was wonderful. He scores 6 touchdowns for Santa Margarita in that game, 4 rushing, 2 receiving in the win over at Mont. Isaiah throws for 314, 6 touchdowns for Damien in the win over Miracosta. That was impressive. But I like what the young man from Taft and Woodland Hills did, Leor Lessem. He had 8 touchdowns. He caught 7, ran a kickback. They killed Grant. And Isaiah Rameau every week seems to get 300 yards for the Chatsworth Chancellors. They easily disposed of Reseda. He scored 4 times as well.
Lessem's performance is the most touchdowns scored in a game in Taft history. Don't know where it stands in city section history,
right.
But for Taft, that program, he is now the all-time leading record holder in single touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, they scored over 70 points, Taft.
I think
there's a lot of records they set.
I think it was a 76-41 final.
Welcome to the new age of high school football.
Yeah, a little high.
Speaking of new age of high school football, we got flag football this year. And Eagle Rock may be the best team in the city. Julie Wilkins is their head coach. Haylee Weatherspoon is one of their stars. And like I mentioned at the top of the program, they are 2-0. And we're about to bring them in. And Julie's done a nice job. And Haley's had 7 touchdowns in 2 games. And hi, Haylee. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Congratulations on the great start. Talk a little bit about you scoring. And there's Coach Wilkins. We'll talk to her in a moment. 7 touchdowns in 2 games. Is this the kind of start you expected in flag football? Because you're new to the sport.
Yeah, definitely not. But it was like really surprising, and I'm really excited. Like it just, and really, yeah, it's really exciting.
And you scored the first touchdown in the history of the city section in your win over Roosevelt. What was that like?
It was just like the second play of the game, I think, and there was only a few people to juke out, and then my speed carried me to the finish line. So, yeah, that was really exciting for our team to be able to score the first touchdown for girls flag football history.
That's really cool. Now, you won that game 54-0 over Roosevelt. Coach, welcome to the program. You're 2-0, 104 points scored, 0 allowed. Obviously, you're going well. What has been the reason for the early success for the Eagle Rock Eagles?
I think the girls are very passionate about this. It's something new for us. I think they really want to make history. And we have such a community school that even parents and other coaches, other football coaches are really helpful. So we really are being supported by every single person at school. So.
Coach, I think you might have alluded to a city championship right there. You said you really want to make history. I'm kidding. Talk about the word really is new. It is a new sport. What did you do to prepare to be able to instruct these young ladies on the rules, how to play, how to beat all that? How did you prep?
Well, my assistant coach is another PE teacher at Eagle Rock, and we see each other all the time. And we studied this together. And we actually asked the guys' football team too, like, okay, what do you guys think about this? And we also scouted the girls at school. So we're able to kind of see who played what. I think 10 of my girls are playing from basketball that are playing flag football. So that really helps us. And we just kind of found the pieces, softball players, track stars, and we had a little bit of an advantage because we see these girls and we just kind of use their strengths. But we did get a lot of help with, the guys football team, but also like Coach Sherman and I were studying this left and right, trying to figure this out.
Haylee, what is your favorite part about playing flag football?
My favorite part is being able to be with my teammates and really just getting the practice in with them because we have such a strong connection. And I think this just makes us stronger together. So, yeah, that's my favorite part, being able to play with my teammates and my friends.
Well, Haylee, you have a lot of teammates. You play basketball, you run track and field. I would imagine that some of those teammates are some of your basketball brethren. What's it like to experience having some of your basketball players playing with you on the flag football team?
It's really great to experience. We have such a strong connection together. We've grown up playing basketball together. So I think that's what really makes our team stronger is the type of connection that we have with each other. So yeah, I think that our connection is really strong.
Coach, I know you got a big test in San Pedro coming up. The first 2 games were not quite barn burners according to the scores. So potentially some adversity is going to hit tomorrow. Have you been kind of preparing the girls for that? Hey, we might actually let up a touchdown. You got to be able to respond. You talk about that kind of stuff as well.
Yes, that was actually the first thing I told them after Monday when I saw them play. Is are you able to handle it? What are you going to do when they score a touchdown on you? Are you going to be able to handle that? We actually did situations today where we were supposed to be down on offense. What can we do? Are we going to be able to accomplish, our goal to be able to win? So they know they're tough. They're tough girls. And they've been through I think the value of having them play different sports, they've already experienced these kind of adversities in the other sports. So.
Coach, Haylee's experienced a once-in-a-lifetime becoming the first player to score a touchdown and having history made in the city section. But your team's doing the same thing tomorrow because you're the first triple header in the history of the LA City section. I know Andy Moran, your friend, is coaching the men's team, and there's a JV game. So what's it like to be part of a triple header and creating some history for the Eagles?
It's really refreshing because it's not like, the boys were like, oh, we're giving you some of our time, letting you play on Friday Night Lights. It's literally, they were like, yes, what can we do to help you? I probably have 10 coaches left and right when we practice. Like, I run to them and ask them questions, so it's really exciting because we support each other, and this is something they're excited about. So I think we're lucky in that sense because, it's the Friday Night Lights and we're part of that, and they want us to be part of it.
That's awesome. I hope you guys get a great turnout for that triple header. My last question for Miss Weatherspoon here is, do you talk about, what are the goals you guys talk about? Do you guys talk about winning a city title? Is it more week to week, day by day? What is the approach for Eagle Rock girls flag football?
So definitely the end goal for us is to be able to win the city title, but we are taking it week to week and making sure that we're not celebrating before games and we're just celebrating after games. So we're taking it week by week, and then our main end goal is to be able to win a city title.
Well, I want you to write down November 18th. It's a Saturday in Birmingham. There's a championship game at 3 and another one at 4:15. The Open Division, or we think it's going to be called the Open Division, and Division 1. So you would be in the Open Division. We wish you luck. We're going to TV those games right here on LA 36. So perhaps, Julie and Haylee, we might be talking to you down the road. Congratulations on a wonderful start. Best of luck against the Pirates tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be a great night at Eagle Rock. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you. That's cool to have 3 games.
I knew flag football was going to be a hit. I just knew it. I just felt the participation level was going to be high. These girls are loving it. They're having fun. I'm seeing videos of the games, and they're competing. They're having fun. I mean, I don't know how fun it is to lose 54-0 or whatever the score was, but hey, I think there's an effort there, and that's what counts.
Yeah, they won 54-0 and 48-0, but they're not at the bad end of it. They're
Sure.
administering
Sure.
the beatings to these teams. Let's check out the guys in the city section. Take a look at the top 10. I know this is Tarek's top 10. He's actually got 11 for 10.
Yeah.
Cleveland and Narbonne there.
Yeah, I know.
Birmingham's still number 1.
I know you don't like it, but I had to sneak in Narbonne. I feel like they're trending upward. And, of course, Carson, again, I think is potentially, I got done writing a story about Jerry Misa Aloafua.
There you go.
Woo! Nailed it.
Nailed it.
And just how his breakout year is getting them in the city title conversation. And why not, right? Because the question year after year, Randy, is who's going to beat Birmingham? So those are the questions we ask. Is it going to be Garfield? Is it going to be Carson? So why not the Colts?
Well, Garfield's won 3 in a row since the early loss to Cathedral. They're a very good football team. Diamondly, by the way, moving up in your poll.
Yeah, that's another one, 4-0, and with an impressive win over Taft, right? So Taft was able to score, 70-plus points the other week, but they lost to Diamondly. I gave Diamondly a nod. Franklin, Banning, these teams are, taking losses. I think towards the end of the year, we'll see a lot of those teams at the bottom work their way up because they're going to get more quality wins.
Some big games this weekend. We start with Kahuku hosting St. John Bosco in Hawaii. Tarek and I saw Kahuku last week get pounded by Mater Dei. Do they have a chance at home against Bosco?
I would say no. I hate to just...
I love Nana Mahalo. That guy's great.
I hate to just rule a team out, but after what we saw against Mater Dei, I just don't know. Maybe they get a couple touchdowns instead of one touchdown. I believe that Mater Dei beat Kahuku 55-8, I think was the final.
That was the score. So
St. John Bosco is just as good. They got to travel. Maybe they'll be a little bit more sluggish. I don't know, but I don't see the Braves going over there and losing.
I agree with you. Sierra Canyon and Orange Lutheran is just a phenomenal football game. You heard from Rod Sherman. He knows he's got a difficult game. Wyatt Becker's a tremendous quarterback for Sierra Canyon. They had done the running back. They're loaded.
Sierra Canyon is loaded, and I've mentioned it before. They've got a defensive end that's a freshman named Richie Wesley, and he's got 6 sacks in 2 games. He might have gotten I know he got 6 sacks in his first 2 games. I don't know how many sacks he got in his 3rd game, but one to watch. Could arguably be like the #1 recruit in the country when he's a senior.
Who's Hines Ward play for? Not the Steelers, right?
Mission Viejo.
Oh, I knew that. That's our
That was
leader
good. That was good,
You
Randy.
like that, huh?
That was good.
Well,
yeah.
there they are. They're playing Los Alamitos. These are 2 hungry football teams.
Yeah.
They both got stunned last week.
Yes. So that's a good way to put it. This could be a really pivotal game because it could have Division I playoff implications, and not so much if the team makes it, but where that team might be seated. Really quick, I think most teams like Sierra Canyon, Orange Lutheran, Mission Viejo, Los Alamitos, Long Beach Poly, those teams are trying to get like the 4 or 5 spot. You know why?
They don't want to play Mater Dei.
You don't want to play Mater Dei or Bosco in
Right.
that opening round of 8 teams in the Division I playoffs. So these games matter, and it makes it more fun.
So does Carson at Hamilton, which is the feature game in the city section. Carson, so you want to say his name? I'll give you another opportunity.
Jerry Misa Aluafua.
He could be the city player of the year, linebacker, running back, great player for the Colts. Hamilton with a big win over Cleveland.
That's right. Dangerous
game for the Colts.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a dangerous game. They're on the road. Why not? You know, the Hamilton Yankees are probably thinking, yeah, we got house money. You know, let's give it a whirl. So I know that's actually an early start tomorrow. I think that game starts at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, something like that. So day game, but I don't see the Colts losing that game. I think they're too hungry and too well coached. Mike Christensen's a good coach.
Yeah, he really is a good coach. You know, if we have Tarek Fatal on the show, we're always talking prep basketball. We got to throw it in. Derek Fisher's got his team in some league playing, and they already won it at Crespi. So the former Laker takes over. They go into some league, fall league, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
and they win this tournament already.
So they win this fall tournament. They go 4-0. They actually did it without Joe Sterling, which is actually quite impressive. But yeah, Derek Fisher, I actually, SBLive.com, scorebooklive.com, go to California, and one of the lead stories is an exclusive interview I had with Derek Fisher actually yesterday, and got to sit in on practice.
And you lined up an interview for this show? I was heard.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't actually talk about
You did that.
But maybe I need to reach back out. Really nice guy, down to earth, gets it. And listen, already having success, a lot of energy, playing faster. And so, yes, real quick, they play in a fall tournament and they win it.
Taft has a new basketball coach in Woodland Hills. Derek Taylor was gone. I don't know if he was ousted or left. It's unclear what happened there. Led him to the city title. But Jonathan Wills takes over. And I remember Jonathan Wills, Carson High School, played at Fresno State, saw him play for the Bulldogs. He's the new head coach.
Yes, that came down yesterday. They have a new AD as well, Megan Kaufman. So Mark Drucker is no longer the AD at Taft.
Right.
He's the girls basketball coach. But yeah, Derek Taylor, I think a little bit, if you think about city section basketball and you think about the tradition it has, it's hard not to mention Derek Taylor, Randy.
Right.
So for him not to be around a little
Was
bit
it
like
4 city titles?
Yeah,
at Taft,
yeah,
right?
and just Jordan Farmar and Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, these lists just go on, and he's no longer around, so it's a new era. Jonathan Wills used to be an assistant at Windward. I've heard rave reviews about him. I'm sure they'll be just fine, but it's going to be a rough year.
I know we may be your favorite TV show, but I like Prep Sports Night Live, which airs Wednesdays here from 7 to 8 with Rich Estrella and Bob Gibson. Did you watch it last night?
Oh, I watch it every week.
They have so much fun. They do a great job, and I just want to give them a shout out that they're going to be on next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, and then obviously we come on every Thursday night. So a shout out for Rich and Bob. All right, where are you going to be tomorrow? Probably Olu.
I'll be at Orange Coast College,
Yeah.
Orange Lutheran, Sierra Canyon.
And I got a crazy week. I got to announce 5 youth basketball games on Saturday, emceeing the Hall of Fame banquet for basketball on Sunday. Crazy weekend.
It is crazy. It's worth a mention. It's kind of nice, like NFL's back. It was cool to have that opening weekend last Sunday and kind of watch. I don't know if you sat back and watched many games, but
I did. What was kind of cool is to have Rod Sherman in here earlier tonight talk about Christian McCaffrey,
That
who
was
he
cool.
coached.
Yeah.
He's had a great career, Rod Sherman, and it's great that he's brought that experience from Colorado to Orange Lutheran, where he went to school.
You think Deion Sanders in Colorado is going to win the national championship?
No, I do not. Come on, stop it already.
I had to throw it in there.
You didn't have to throw it in there. They're not going to win it.
Prime time.
You know who's going to win the national championship?
Not USC.
No? Maybe Michigan, mate? No, I don't know
No, stop.
No, who
If
do you
anything,
like?
maybe Georgia again.
that. Oh, God, please. Not 3
SC's not going to win
years
it.
in a row.
As much as I actually root
No,
for
we're not
SC,
supposed- why
they
are we
don't have the
talking college
defense.
football here?
Yeah, because we've only got 30 seconds left in the show.
Well, Christian McCaffrey was in the pros. We could have talked NFL. 151 yards
Yeah, but that's
last
like,
week.
it doesn't move the needle.
It doesn't. The NFL never moves the needle.
Yeah.
Who do you like at Sierra Canyon?
Oh, yeah. I think Sierra Canyon's they're gonna get their little revenge. It is a rematch for those. It's a rematch, semifinals. Rod Sherman talked about it. So I think Sierra Canyon's gonna
How's
win
the
tomorrow
baby?
night. Baby's good. It's 5 weeks old.
5. I was going to say.
Isla.
Isla's
She's a cute
Isla's
little
the
thing.
person. She's it. She gets it done. Tarek, we're done. That's it. Thank you, Rod Sherman. Thank you, ladies from Eagle Rock. Julie Wilkins and Haylee Weatherspoon. For Tarek, I'm Randy. We'll see you next Thursday night right here on SoCal Prep Report. You were really on tonight. I like Rod Sherman. He's a good guy.
I think Travis Hunter might actually have a chance to win the Heisman.
Travis Hunter is not going to win the